Hello. I decided to start a channel where I learn tarot. I've kind of been doing it for a few years. It's kind of something you kind of get better at as you do, and I figured I might as well take you along with me. Something I've kind of learned after a while. Everybody kind of has their own way of like doing it. I have this book here, and it'll tell you what each card means. You can Google what every card means, and everybody kind of has like a different idea. And what I realized is you kind of just have to feel it, you know? I don't shuffle the cards the same way every time. I don't pick the cards the same way every time. It's kind of just however I want to do it. And the universe, man, it knows everything. It knows. I was laying in bed one night, and I don't know what I tapped into or accessed, but I just heard all these voices, all these different types of voices, just going back and forth, just saying all kinds of stuff. And I focused in on one, and it said, "Popped tire." I was like, "That's funny. That's strange. Maybe I'll pop a tire, or I'll blow a tire the next day." So next day, the whole day, all day, I was just waiting for my tire to blow out. And at the very end of the day, I was sitting there, and a bus had made a U-turn. And by this point, I had completely forgotten about the fact that I heard that, right, the night before. And it was loud. The bus did a U-turn, it hit up on the curb on just the right spot and popped the tire. And I jumped because those are big tires, you know, and loud. And I was like, man, that's crazy. Like, that bus driver had been driving all day, stopped at so many different lights, been surrounded by so many other cars, right? And each car could have impacted down to the second, right? Like where that bus was going to be at any given moment. The passengers, one passenger could take longer to get off the bus, right? And delay it by just a few seconds. Like every little thing could have changed the outcome. And for some reason, the universe already knew that it was going to have a pop tire. So for all of those little things to kind of happen, what I'm trying to get at here is that the universe knows where all of these cards are and what they are. It knows who you are. It knows how you're going to interpret them, what you're going to do, what method you use. It knows all of that. So it doesn't really matter how you do it, as long as you tap into it and feel it. So I just have fun with it. I love tarot. I have a couple decks at home. This one really spoke to me one day when I was in the store. Seems like a rock shop, crystal shop. And I actually left the store and came back and got it just because it was like screaming at me. I was like, fine. I kind of liked it. It looked like kind of like a wheel of like French cheese or something. I don't know. So, because they're round, I don't really like to shuffle them like other cards. I kind of just do a smattering on the table. And what I'll do here is I'm going to do like the Celtic cross. That's kind of what I want to do today. The spread, it's how you lay out the cards. And I'm just going to go with it and kind of make up my own ways of doing it. I'm going to follow, I have a book here in front of me, and it tells me what each card does and what it's supposed to signify and mean. And again, with all these things, the rules are not hard and fast. I kind of just like to play it by ear, and how it feels is how it feels, regardless of what it says. One person may say this card means one thing, another person will say this card means something else, and it depends on kind of what it feels like to you in the moment, what that card means. And sometimes it won't make sense. You'll feel something and it'll kind of feel out of alignment with the rest of the cards. And I like to think of that as kind of like a one word in a sentence. One word might not mean a whole lot until you start putting other words around it, and then you get a sentence, right? A coherent thought. And so during this reading, if I look at a card and, I'll kind of read it, if I can't really interpret it, I might come back to it at the end. I think the most important thing is just enjoy yourself. Be happy. Just it's a fun thing to do. I like doing it. Let's get started. I'm going to run the cards. Typically what I do is I look for a break. So this is a break right here. Sometimes cards will kind of jump out. Like this one kind of jumped out. I'll get that one too. I'm going to pick 10. Sometimes I kind of just like to press and kind of feel the cards. I wouldn't see a break, but this one kind of pointed out to me. If you don't feel like drawing a card, don't draw a card. Try to mix it up here a little bit. Right here. And I kind of want that one too. I have the dryer going in the background, so I'm playing some rain noises to kind of cancel that out. My mom, she hates tarot. She did it when she was younger. She had a bad experience with it, she says. She thinks it's evil. I don't really believe in evil, I'm going to be honest. I don't believe in good or evil. I believe that things just are. It just is. But I don't think there's anything negative or wrong or anything bad about tarot. She says you can't control who you talk to or who comes through, and you could get some evil entity. And I don't think it's that way. I think it depends on who you are and your level of being. It's like a radio channel. You're set to 98.5. Somebody is set to 53.6. You can't read the different radio channels. My husband's over there making faces at me. Anybody that's the same kind of level or vibration as me, that's what's going to come through for me. And I don't feel scared or worried about it. Again, I have fun. It's a great time. I sit here and make myself a little smoothie. It's kind of melted now, but I sit here and enjoy myself. Let's see how many cards I got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. I need 3 more. Oh, well, that ended like that, so need 2 more. We'll pick this one and this one. Count again because I historically am bad at math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And these will go off to the side. Now I can either lay them out like this, or I can shuffle them. I have a feeling that the second card is supposed to be the first card, so that's what we're going to do. Now what's tricky about these cards in particular is because they don't have a specific orientation, right? Like they're not square. They'll actually end up being directed in different ways, and that kind of adds a more like nuanced perception. sometimes I kind of feel like tarot is it's a placeholder for thoughts. It allows you to kind of lay stuff out and kind of dig deeper and kind of feel it out. And this kind of adds a different layer to that. These aren't the easiest cards, especially since they're not labeled. Hence me, I will end up looking every card up just to make sure, and I'll read various different meanings on it. And then I'll kind of just make up my own interpretation based on what I feel. So, okay, looks like it is the 3, 4, 5. Also has the Roman numeral there. 5 of Pentacles. You know what's funny is the last reading I did, this was also the number 2. Just like that. I'm going to scooch these down just a little bit. Interesting. I see this card a lot in people's readings. Oh, I wasn't supposed to go there. Happy accidents, like Bob Ross, right? My brain was somewhere else and I put it there. That means that card was meant to be there. I ain't worrying about it. This card was in my last reading too. In fact, the only card that's different from the last one I did maybe like 20 minutes ago, and I shuffled those cards really well, is this one. And that's super interesting. All right, so we're gonna go 4, 5, we're at 6 now. Okay. This is one of my favorite cards. I love suns and moons. Okay. Alright. Ooh, this is an interesting card too. A lot of interesting cards here. This is just kind of how I felt like doing it. You saw I kind of did my own thing. I didn't really follow the rules 100%. It's all about you. I put some cards out of order, and they just kind of ended up that way, and that's how it's supposed to be, okay? People who rigidly follow the book, if that's how they want to do it, and that's how they learn, that's how they feel like they need to do it, that's fine. But I'm a more organic, kind of go with the flow kind of person, and I feel like you kind of have to be sometimes to really understand the full meaning of what the cards say. All right, so for this layout, it's called a cross. Typically, this card will be turned over this card. So we're going to go with this one. The book says the querent. So this is going to be you or whoever would be sitting on the other side of the table. Used in this position or a card can be picked at random. I felt like it was the second card. So what I'm going to do now is open my Google AI. Tell me what this is supposed to mean. Typically depicts a wealthy individual distributing coins to 2 people in need of, representing themes of generosity, charity, and financial balance. Okay. So this would typically be you. Now with these, the book kind of tells you if they go in different directions, what that could signify. Again, I don't follow this 100% sometimes. It's something I'll take note of and kind of look at, and if I feel like it's relevant, I'll definitely remember that, and if not, then you don't worry about it. So it is pointing up and slightly to the left, so that could indicate past. I don't think it's turning quite enough to the past. I think it's ideals and beliefs. So it could be that you believe yourself to be this way, You see yourself as a giving person, maybe somebody who is wealthy, well off. Um, Scales here kind of indicate balance, right? You have money, you're giving it back to the poor. You definitely see yourself as this person. Doesn't necessarily mean that other people see you that way, and that is later on over here. We'll get into that. I try not to typically look too much at these cards and focus on one at a time. That's just kind of how I do it, though. 2, the obstacle or influence that may be bearing the question. So that's this one. So whatever situation is going on right now, this card will get kind of shine some light and kind of allude to that. So I get the light out of it. All right, a metaphor of feeling trapped, restricted, and hopeless. It's pointing towards the future. But it doesn't have to be the future. Sometimes these cards will also kind of tend to point towards each other, meaning that there's a focal point, or they can be splitting apart from each other. It's kind of up to interpretation. I feel like maybe the reason why this one is turning this way isn't necessarily predicting the future. It's more along the lines of aligning with this one. So you feel trapped. Blindfold. You're blind. You can't see your way out. To me, right now, these kind of binds look kind of loose. They look kind of lazy. The ground is wet, so to get out, you're going to have to probably get a little wet, a little dirty. But it's not impossible, and you're not tied to anything. These swords here are not tied to you. It's not impossible to get out of. You are bound, but you're in no way kind of bound by your own beliefs or your own circumstances or your own headspace. You can't get out of it. I don't see this as being a permanent thing. 3. Don't stay here though. It could have just freshly rained or something like that. It's going to get hot and humid. You know, you want to get out. But you're stuck there right now. It's not a permanent thing. 3, this is the Hermit. The question itself and the basis of the matter. I feel like he's telling me something with how it's angled here. So we're going to look at that. Shadow self. This kind of came out. I flipped the book and this kind of just popped open. I definitely feel that. I feel like this is subconscious. Subconscious kind of. The shadows are typically parts of us that we don't typically like to recognize or associate with, for whatever reason. Social conditioning, how you were raised, church beliefs. It can be a lot of things, and they're subconscious. They're not necessarily right on the tip of our awareness. So I'm just going to type hermit. Hermit meaning. It invites us to retreat into our private world and experience a sense of seclusion and introspection. I feel some type of pain. Maybe not pain, like unalignment. In alignment, non-alignment. It's kind of just like two things are kind of deeper within yourself. Could be passed. I do think it's unconscious though. Okay. 4. It's funny that all of these cards were very similar cards, if not the same cards as my last reading. The ones all on here are new. Including this card, and I believe it was upside down then, too. The Emperor. Okay, could be an abuse of power, immaturity, financial instability. Well, I feel like pretty financially stable. It could be an immaturity, social immaturity. It's almost like you're unwilling to look here. You're unwilling to try and see why, right? Emotional immaturity. Dig deeper within yourself, do some shadow work, try to figure out why. 5, I already know what this one is. 4 of Cups. Again, these are all kind of saying the same thing. In case you can't see it. So basically, there's a thought or something just outside of your awareness, kind of like your bubble of awareness. It's kind of just lingering just right there. You're trying, it's almost like you're just looking with the wrong light on. You're looking with the wrong set of eyes or frequency. Like you're not catching it. It's you could be trapped in like an emotional state. I definitely see a lot of that. A lot of just kind of resentment. Not really sadness. Could be possible that you haven't developed a name for this emotion that is trapped. You haven't maybe recognized what it is yet, which would then be like the lock and the key to opening that and releasing that and integrating that, right? You have to figure out what it is. But for some reason, you're looking in the wrong areas. This one here is the 4 of Pentacles. This is very much reversed for me. As in, like, opposite of what it would be if it was upright. So, the near future in relation to the question. This to me seems more of like a general reading. It doesn't seem to be like something that's poignant. It's kind of just more of like a general reading of a life or of a situation. I don't have, like, I've done readings before where it's very obvious that somebody's pregnant, right? This doesn't seem like anything like that. Like, this seems more of like kind of just like an overall, something is trying to get your attention into looking at this. So 4 of Pentacles, let's look up what that means. Reversed often signifies a shift away from holding on too tightly. Yeah, I kind of thought it was a positive thing. He kind of looks kind of angry, not angry, but guarded. He's guarding some material thing. He has his feet over it, like he's holding it, he's keeping it there. He doesn't want anybody to take it. And he's holding on to it, but he's kind of showing it off too. He's holding on to it. So reverse kind of indicates that you're maybe letting go, releasing control, openness, and generosity. Generosity is kind of what we saw here, of what you think of yourself as somebody who's generous. This kind of aligns with that. The near future in relation to the question. So you will be this person. If you're not already or on the way there, this is who you are now. Coming up. All right, this one's going to be fears. Ooh, I really like this card, so I'm typically not associating that with fears. It's funny that it's here. Let's see what it says. The moon. I love moons and suns and stars. Fears and concerns. I believe that this one is pointing us that way for a specific reason. So for the future, you're afraid of something in the future. Intuition, subconscious exploration. We were just talking about subconscious exploration and being unwilling to do that. And you're fearing that coming up. You know that you're going to have to do that. You know that. On some level, if not all levels, at some level, you know that you are going to have to confront this thing. And I sense a bit of fear, hostility, or it's not laziness, just angst. In an avoidance kind of way. Now I'm getting that gear kind of grinding against each other kind of feeling. Some part of you is not willing to do this. Maybe you've built your identity around whatever emotion this is. And your subconscious is afraid of changing, right? Your behaviors are going to change. What interests you is going to change. Things will seem unimportant to you, and other things will seem important to you. You are apprehensive about that for some reason. Kind of just went off on a little tangent there, but that's what happens, right? Okay, 8. Other people's perspectives. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. So this is what you think of yourself, and this is kind of what other people think of you. It is pointed just a little bit that way. Kind of towards shadow self. So maybe you kind of recognize this in yourself. Maybe you don't want to admit to yourself that you feel this way. Oh, I took a picture of it. Well, silly me. The star. Hope, healing, and renewal. Oh, what? It's upside down. That's not good. Hopelessness, despair, lack of inspiration, boredom, and a dimmed spark for life. That seems kind of overkill, if I'm being honest. That's just what the book said. I'm not feeling that from this. And that's all that really matters. I think that it is more that you think of yourself that way. I think it may be a different part of you, because right, we have different layers, right? Conscious, subconscious, higher self, right? There's, however you want to word it, there's multiple layers. And it's possible that, I think this is maybe your ego, your egoic self thinks of you this way. And it's possible that another part of you thinks of you this way. Another part of you I think lack of inspiration is kind of lack of a spiritual connection. Which would make sense if you're avoiding part of yourself, right? Immature, emotionally, or maybe spiritually. That's what I think it is. I think it's not necessarily how other people in the world are looking at you. It is a different version or a different part of yourself is looking at you looking at yourself that way. This is definitely your egoic self. There's just something about that. If I pull it on a card. This is the Page of Pentacles, I think. Page of Pentacles. New beginnings, particularly in the material realm. This is reversed. Ambition, drive, determination, intellectual prowess, but it was upside down. You're avoiding something. This is almost kind of like there's a potential. It's kind of like a little like flash, or like something really shiny is dangling on a string and it turns in the sun and you get like a glint, kind of like getting your attention. That's what this kind of says to me. Hey, over here, pay attention to this. Come over here, look at me. I'm here. And this just seems kind of like a dud, like kind of like a dense. Like a, not even like a static. It's kind of just like a dud kind of noise. I can't describe it. Yeah, we can pull one more. Okay. Four of Wands. I get something cheery with this though. So we'll see. Oh, I took a picture of it again instead of scanning it. Silly me. Silly, silly. Let's put it in the future. Okay, so if you end up picking this decision, yeah, it's kind of like a celebration. I see kind of like a release of tension. Like when you release that big emotion, and you just feel that like peace and this like emptiness, but it's like a great emptiness, like the sore has been gone, and this kind of sour, like itchy pain is gone. You'll feel this way. You'll feel this peace and this happiness, this airy lightness. It's that little glint. It's kind of it's almost like you're being it's whatever it is. It's like they're showing it to you. It's being shown to you, and you're not catching on to it. Okay, I feel like it's time to move on. Number 9. This is your hopes and wishes, and it is perfectly upright. Let's see. Oh. 5 of Cups often signifies loss, disappointment, and regret. You want loss or sadness? Let's see. Dejection, sorrow, possibly due to significant loss or disappointment. Loss of money, relationships, or jobs. Okay. So you're in like a self-destructive state right now, or some type of position. Maybe you're in a bad relationship, or like a toxic one, or maybe you're a kid who's waiting to grow up and get out of the parents' house, and the parents are just like so overbearing, and you just can't wait to get out. So a loss would be a loss of that, but it wouldn't be a bad thing. That is what you want. You want to lose that suffocating attachment. Yeah, we can pull another card. Okay, this card here immediately just says to me, you need to make a choice. Maybe you feel like you can't make a choice. I think that's a lot of what this card is, right? You think you're stuck. You feel like you can't make a choice, but you can. You can do anything you want. You need to be careful, though. This also kind of says to me, you can't, everything doesn't look to be what it is. When you make a choice, you need to make sure that you are making it with your heart. Maybe not so much your brain in this instance. Because your brain will tell you gold, valuable. So you'll pick that, and then you'll go to sell it and realize it's brass. It's not gold. If you would have listened to your heart, you would have picked like a glass cup and found out to be crystal, right? And make money because your heart liked that cup, right? So listen to your heart. Don't necessarily. Your heart and kind of is kind of like your intuition. Don't just make it such an intellectual decision. I don't see there is some stuff here about balance. Most decisions should be weighted right in balance between emotion and logic. Typically, I like to follow my heart and I use logic to get there, or I try to. I'm not perfect. Don't judge me, or whatever. Judge me if you want, I guess. This kind of feels like though you've been maybe making too many choices logically that haven't really worked out for you. Perhaps you're blind, right? Like you don't see a way out, so making a logical decision isn't going to work. Maybe you feel like there's an emotional kind of like a hope or an idea that idea has already manifested for you. Um, it's just you choosing to go after and follow it. Go after it, follow your dreams, right? You are not doing that repeatedly over and over again. Why are you not doing that? This was kind of, looks like Columbus. Why are you not doing that? Why are you stamping over yourself? Courage planning. Okay. Between safety and the unknown. Literally says it right there. You're scared. I mean, it's understandable, right? You can be scared. That's fine. Everybody gets scared sometimes. It's important to know that you can't be afraid of your emotions. Emotions are a lot of things, but it's not something that you can suppress and push away. It's something that you have to recognize and embody the part of you that has created that emotion. And realize that embracing that is actually going to make you happier. It's not going to make you sad. And you're afraid, right? Because it's the unknown. And maybe you've been subconsciously conditioned to do that your entire life. Maybe your parents do that and their parents do that. And it's common in society right now for people to reject their emotions or control their emotions. In part, you can't really control them. You can experience them and let them out to air, right? And the more you face those problems within yourself, the less things tend to bother you and make you angry. I see here a traveler. I was thinking Columbus, but you're wishing, you're looking, you're wishing for things to be different and for things to be happier and fulfillment, enjoyment. You're looking at the world. And these two wands are almost kind of like a gate. As if to say, like, it is right there. Just make the decision and go. Follow your heart and you'll end up where you're supposed to go. All right. The last card here is the overall outcome of the matter. It's the Wheel of Fortune. It is kind of pointed down. Actually, it's kind of a lot pointed down. It's actually pointed up. I'm sorry. Let's see. Change, cycles, destiny. Up and to the left. Why are you pointing that way? Am I missing something here? It's trying to tell me something. I keep saying past, but I don't think it does feel like past to me. Feels like ideas and beliefs. Well, if you do end up making that decision, right, everything is going to change. Um, I think there's different levels to the cycles, down to the lowest of what you do every morning, your daily cycle, your daily routine. That will obviously change. I see higher meanings also. Cycles, karmic cycles. Perhaps this is a karmic lesson of some kind. You've been struggling with this for a while. It's possible you could have been struggling with it in the past. Something that you are supposed to be overcoming. Everything in its time. You're afraid. You're afraid to go out there. You're afraid for adventure. You want these things, but you're afraid to go out there and get them. Let's get some more clarification here. Pull this one's fine. So we got the Knight of Pentacles. Ooh, I'm gonna sneeze. Reliability, diligence, and a methodical approach to achieving goals. Maybe you'll learn that. You will learn to be that way. Diligence and hard work. It's possible, yeah, you're gonna have to start over. I don't know what kind of job you have, or if you have a job at all, but you definitely have to go and get a job if you move away from whatever situation. I feel like it has to do with the situation that you're in, right? That I was talking about earlier, that is suffocating. You may feel trapped because it is providing you with something, either food, money, shelter, all of the above. It could be you living in your parents' house, or it could be a bad relationship. And you are going to have to learn to do these things on your own. The universe has you, though. You might have to struggle a little bit. It's nothing that's going to be here struggle. It's not like you're going to go to prison, right? There's going to be some early mornings. There's going to be some late nights. There's going to be some mistakes doing laundry, right? But it's not as impossible of a wall, right, that it appears that it is. When you get to the wall, there'll be a ladder, there'll be stairs. You can get over it, and you will get over it. It seems impossible. It seems daunting. The wall seems so high. Right? You can make it there. Once you get there, you'll see the way. Don't worry so much about how right now. I know you want to plan it. You want to plan everything out, and you want to visualize it. It's almost like a safety net. It's like a crutch, right? Like you know that you'll be safe and everything will be taken care of, and you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You just start on the journey. When you get there, you will find the way. You will find the answers. This card is typically associated with pregnancy. I'm just going to say it's funny because we talked about that earlier today. It's almost as if it was in my mind. Fertility, creativity, and abundance. It's funny because I literally talked about pregnancy earlier. It's funny that I brought that up, and now it's like staring me in the face. right. One last word, one last word, one last card. What are we going to end here with? One, two, three, four, five, six, 7 of Pentacles. And it is pointed towards the future. What did I say that was? 2, 4, 6, 6, 7 of Pentacles. Patience, persistence, and the rewards that come from dedicated effort and hard work. Like I said, there's going to be some pitfalls. You're going to have to work. You're going to have to get a job. You're going to have to do all these things that you maybe you're afraid of doing, or you just feel like you don't know how, or it's kind of like unknown to you, right? Doing all these things, and that might be slightly off-putting. It might be scary. It just feels kind of like at this point you're kind of just delaying the inevitable by avoiding it instead of just doing it, and you need to just go on out there and do it. Well, that's about it. I feel like that is all from this reading. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for spending time with me as I continue to practice and learn tarot. I hope you enjoyed my unique spread here and kind of how I just like to play it out and feel things out.